It's over. They're all gone. Frank, it's time. It's time you say what happened.
Whatever you need me to do, I'm available.
Only 3 people in the world have one of these, and only one of them is Irish. You know how strong I made you?
All right, so I just saw The Irishman with Robert De Niro and Joe Pesci and Al Pacino, directed by Martin Scorsese. And is it Scorsese's masterpiece? Is it the greatest film ever to be conceived in the history of cinema? No, not quite. I think film Twitter has lost their minds when it's come to this movie. It's a very good film, no doubt, but is it Scorsese's best? No. I mean, it does not beat Wolf of Wall Street. It doesn't beat Casino or Goodfellas, which are the better gangster films from Scorsese for sure. Not so much Wolf of Wall Street, but, you know, Casino and Goodfellas. You get what the fuck I'm saying. But yeah, I liked it. I thought it was a good movie. A little long. I think you could have cut out an hour of the film, and I don't think anything would have changed. A little bloated. And I saw an interview with Scorsese, and he said nobody in Hollywood would help him fund this film. And the only place he could make it was Netflix. And I find that hard to believe. I can't believe no studio in Hollywood would give Martin Scorsese money to make this movie, right? So I don't know how truthful he is about that. I think he made it on Netflix because Netflix let him do whatever the hell he wants. I think if he made this with another studio, they would have told him to cut it down. Because it does feel like the movie is a little excessively long. I don't think it needs to be this long. I mean, it's not as long as Death Stranding, but, you know, it's pretty fucking long. And personally, it's not his best gangster film. I think he did it better with Goodfellas, honestly. And, you know, there is times in The Irishman where it does feel like he's rehashing old things from other movies. But I think The Irishman has a better message than his other gangster films. Because with Goodfellas and Casino, it really feels like Martin Scorsese is glorifying, you know, wise men and, you know, the mafia and stuff like that. And it just seems really cool to be in the mafia when you're watching Goodfellas, right? And I feel like this Irishman movie is a response to his old films. And maybe Martin Scorsese saying that there's nothing glorious about being a wise guy in the mob, right? Because throughout the movie, Martin Scorsese makes it a point to introduce people, you know, with text and stuff. But, you know, it'll say their names, but then it'll say how they died. So it'd be like, so-and-so, you know, died 2 shots to the back of the head in his kitchen. You know, like, it'll be like those kind of descriptions for the characters when he first introduces them. And it's like every character's like that. And it kind of dawned on me while watching the film that this film's about, you know, violent men leading violent lives, and their own lives end violently at the end. You know, that's what happens to them at the end. Except for Robert De Niro's character, who lives to the end of the movie to be an old man. He's actually narrating the whole film as an old man. And he's like the only one that's survived. Out of all his, you know, mafia brethren, he's like the last one that is alive at the end. And, you know, the last 20 minutes of the film, it's Robert De Niro repenting his sins, right? He's talking to a father for like the last 20 minutes, and he's scared to death, you know? He's all by himself. His family doesn't want to speak to him or anything, and he's just there to reflect on his life and like, was it all worth it? Did he do anything right? And I think the movie is a lot about regret, you know? But of course, if you haven't seen the film, I'm probably going to have a few spoilers in it, but who fucking cares, right? It's just another person reviewing a movie on YouTube. You're going to forget everything I said by the time you actually go watch this film. But all the actors are great. You know, Robert De Niro, Joe Pesci, Al Pacino, they all do a great job. Al Pacino, this is one of his best movies in a while. Joe Pesci came out of retirement for this film, and he does a brilliant job. He's really good. And Robert De Niro is pretty damn good, too. They do a weird thing with the CGI with Robert De Niro. They try to make him look younger in some scenes, but I'm kind of questioning like how good that worked, because he still looks like an old man. Like, they make him look like 40, but he still is walking like he's in his 60s. You know, he has like a little hunch in his shoulder. He just doesn't look like a younger man. He looks old as shit. So if you get past that, you know, you get past the first hour like that, you're going to be fine. It's really not that noticeable. The CGI in their faces is great. It's just the way he like walks and his mannerisms. He doesn't look like a spry, 30, 40-year-old. He looks like an old fuck. But the movie is about mainly Jimmy Hoffa, who is played by Al Pacino. And if you know anything about Jimmy Hoffa, he was famous for being killed by the mafia, and they never found his body. Like, that's the big thing about, his life. And this movie's really based on real people. I don't know how much of the story is actually true, but all the people in the movie are real people. So there is some truth to it, and it's probably dramatizing everything else, but at least the people are real. Al Pacino does a great job playing Jimmy Hoffa, and Robert De Niro's character is a hitman, and eventually he befriends Jimmy Hoffa, like Jimmy Hoffa becomes his best friend, and by the end of the movie, he has to kill Jimmy Hoffa because he's causing too much trouble with the mob, and it's the one kill that Robert De Niro's character regrets, and the one kill that he has like so much remorse for, because Jimmy Hoffa was a good person. He didn't deserve to die, right? So I think that really like ties into the overall theme of the movie. There's a lot of regret with Robert De Niro's character. There's nothing glorious about being a mafia hitman, and I think the movie does a good job relaying that message. And I almost feel like Martin Scorsese is trying to repent for his past films, almost as if to say, yeah, I've made, Goodfellas and Casino, and those really make it look like the mafia is a fun thing to be. But the reality is, these men's lives don't end good. And there's nothing rewarding or heroic or great about being in the mafia or being one of these wise guys that dies eventually. A lot of these mafia dudes just end up dying, getting killed by the people that they think are their friends, right? And I actually really like that message. I think The Irishman does a really good job of relaying that and making that, a major theme of the movie. But definitely, I think the movie needed an editor. Because it's great. I mean, I don't think there's anything really bad about any of the scenes they left in, but I think they could have cut some stuff out. We could have got to the point a little bit quicker, could have got to the meat a little bit quicker. The movie does take a while to get going, but if you're in the mood for a gangster film, it's perfect. You just watch Goodfellas, Casino. This is a natural fit with those movies, and it's a natural end to that phase of Martin Scorsese's filmography, right? He never really needs to make a mafia movie again. I think this is his last one he's going to make. This says everything that he needs to say about it. It kind of like closes the book on that chapter of his filmography. He kind of says everything that he need to say, But yeah, that's it. I think the movie's a little long, but yeah, you could have cut out an hour. Maybe it would have been a little better, but still, I think the movie as a whole works really well. It's not Martin Scorsese's best. It's not even his best gangster film. I think he's made a few better ones than this. But it's definitely a good movie. It has a really good message, good themes, really great performances. I mean, Joe Pesci is just amazing in this movie. And so is Al Pacino and Robert De Niro. They all play off of each other really well. And, it's like they're in their prime still. And they're just great actors. And that's the reason to watch the movie. Just to watch these actors, go to work and stuff. I mean, that's the main reason to watch this. And even Action Bronson, the rapper, has a cameo in the last third of the movie, the last half hour, not the third, last half hour, which I fucking jumped out of my seat for. I didn't think Action Bronson was in this movie at all. I mean, I thought it was a great cameo when he's selling the coffins to Robert De Niro. I mean, that was just a great moment. Most people probably won't recognize Action Bronson, but he's a great rapper, and he's hysterical, and yeah, definitely check out his stuff. But yeah, I think Scorsese did a good job. It's not his best. I think film Twitter's a little crazy when they are saying this is his masterwork. This is his greatest filmmaking achievement that he's ever done. It's like, really? Have you seen Wolf of Wall Street? I mean, that movie by far is more entertaining and just way more enjoyable to watch. And it's also like a 3-hour film. So, there was many times in this Irishman movie where I was checking my watch. I was kind of like, all right, are we getting towards the end here? What's happening? But with Scorsese, I think you just have to watch every single film he's made. Even if you don't like some of them, I think it's always worth it to watch a Scorsese film. He is a master at what he does. And maybe he was a little self-indulgent when it came with The Irishman. Say a few more things about the mob, and that kind of lifestyle one more time.
But yeah, I hope he does move on. I hope we get some other films by him because he does great in many different genres. So yeah, that's it for now. I mean, if I was to give it a score out of 10, it'd probably be like an 8, something like that, or 7. I mean, those are fine scores. I mean, it's a good film, not a great film, not his best film. It's a good film. But yeah, that's it for now. Comment below. Let me know if you've seen The Irishman. The Irishman. Let me know what you think about Joe Pesci and Al Pacino. Hoo-ah! Robert De Niro. And yeah, I'll see you all in the next one. All right, bye.
Trust me, I know how you feel.
We'll bring you back after you get your car.
Yeah.
Now go home and get your fucking shine box.
Motherfucking you fucking piece of shit!